Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am Ashpar Bab, Director of Testing Service Sindh Education Organization, and I am thrilled to welcome you all to our today's workshop on Flutter language using Dart programming. Today we have the honor of learning from the talented Miss Payal Matlani, a tech language developer and a student of Zabis Larkana, who brings a wealth of experience to guide us through the dynamic world of Flutter and Dart. Let's give a warm virtual welcome to Ms. Payal Matlani. As a tech language developer, she has successfully contributed to several projects, making her the perfect guide for our exploration today. Before we begin, I would like to highlight the agenda of today's session. Ms. Payal will give an in-depth exploration of the Flutter framework along with the practical insights into the Dart programming language. And finally, in the last, we will have the question and answer session. So over to you, Ms. Payal.
Hello everyone. Thank you for introducing myself. Uh, Thank you for this warm welcome. So here I am presenting my PPT about the Flutter language. So the today's topic about Flutter language using Dart programming as a guest speaker I am presenting here. So first we go through the introduction. Okay. So further, I am moving towards the introduction. The introduction to the Flutter language, according to Dart programming, is growing industry in the Pakistan and also in the other countries. But as you see that knowledge of this create an powerful in the mobile application, as we know that other web applications like javascript, html and other css languages, we can see that they are ensured like already used and already developed like and vast in our industry. But the Flutter language in a Dart programming is making other change and other enhancement in the features in the user interfaces. As we know that the Flutter developer, as we explore other opportunities in the Karachi sides or Lahore sides, the introduction towards the Flutter is the beginning of journey towards the mobile application development. So moving on the next slide, how we can understand the concepts of Flutter languages. The core concepts of the Flutter languages, as we see in the slide, that it is like a framework and a reactive framework, and like it is utilized in the many type of projects. Just like we can make the apps in different like food apps, like we make an mobile applications like contacts. We can contact each other like in other apps. WhatsApp is the common like in, but we can use the communication other types like the emails वगैरह. Like we can understand the user interface completely in the Flutter languages and make it user friendly, like user friendly everyone used in the every environment. Like we can use in the multiple users, like in multiple programming, like not like unique programmings. So moving on further slides, the how can we set the development environment in the Flutter development. The Flutter development in the SDK setting enters IDE and Android Studio or in Visual Studio Code. So now we moving on that how can we implement it in Android Studio and in Visual Studio Code. Flutter language using a Dart programming, we can implement like as we can put into the code. As we know that C++ programming or a C programming in many languages we can apply. As a developer or as a CS student, people know about that Flutter is all about using Dart programming or other reactive languages. But just the Dart programming is like the ensured C++. Ensured C++ programming developed continuously and Dirt programming is like enhancement of the C++ or C projects. So as we can do in Android Studio and Visual Studio Code also, but mainly people use the Visual Studio Code, but also the Android Studio is make it easier to learn this, make it easier to solve this. So moving on the further slides, I explore other options. How can we explore other options? To explore other options, we can use Dirt as a scalability application. Like we make this Dirt program is scalable. We can use in every environment, in every platforms, or in every type of softwares. Like we can use in the mobile applications through Play Store. We can search an app and open it, and it will shows us everything that this is the step, this is the step, this is developed. Inside the code, we can see many of the implementations are step by step recorded or step by step implemented. But in the Dirt programming language, we can see the ancient C++ signals are mentioned. We can make it strong by checking the programming issues, by integration, by the process. It's the common like process. We can make it scalable in Flutter application. Scalability is depend upon how many people used, how many people operate, how many people uh, perform this. To performing this is not even as easier, but we can do. We can do by the practicing on it. We can do by the implement code like we can have a tea break, or we can have something practicing keep on. It is not as difficult, but it can helpful in the upcoming technologies, like upcoming new features the people want to know, the people want to operate, the people want to use. So moving on further on next slides. So how we build the user interface in Flutter. So it is going to be a main as a topic, how we can use the user interface within the Flutter languages. User interface is like just a prototype open, like it's showing a screen, not behind the code. Screen and prototypes we make on different apps to make a model of it. To implement the code is behind it, but it shows like an screen invisible. If anyone is not related with the tech, that's why I'm saying that explaining one by one big thing is as well. So moving on further, these resources are very helpful. We can not only operate it by the some of like uh, PCs or laptops. We can or operate it by the multiple users, like multiple computers and multiple supercomputers. We can make in large an organization environment like a complete tech environment. We can use it not as our single user. So it is like in a quick animations and quick 3D things are recorded in it, or we put it in code and we can operate it. So code is about practicing in Flutter or in every languages. But Flutter gives the new environment towards the new generation, towards the new interfaces. Like we want an app something new, which can be clicked and sound is recorded, or sound is produced, or sound is listened by you. Someone we can call the name of someone, and sound is putting like this. Not we write, only we can say the word in the Google like, and sound is coming out. So as we uh, use it in it, like in Flutter, Dirt programming make new libraries, new things. In new certain libraries, in the certain steps, we can explore other options, like other things we can input in it. We can make user interface like vast and like you can say beautiful, or we can say modified. So moving on further, how we can manage in Flutter applications. Managing in Flutter applications is not then much easy, but we can manage like a quick. we can provide uh, like pattern and zero stick patterns, or understand these techniques allows developer to the efficient handle changes. Now this is the point we need to understand the techniques. How can and developer efficiently handle it? We can efficiently handle it by updating its user interface or maintaining its user experience throughout the app. Throughout the app, we can explain it how can it works, how can it work by data requirements. A developer always needed as steps of 7 steps. Like we firstly do requirements. We can firstly gather the uh, information from the step by step. Then we stage a prototype, then we implement, then deploy, then give a feedback to a user that the client needs this. How can it will user interface used like this? Okay, so moving on the further uh, applications, that how can we work upon the Flutter language, or how can we work upon the Dart programming? Actually, Flutter language is in a framework, but in Dart programming we can use it. Flutter language we can use in every type of language, in every type of language, like some of like reactive, but Dart programming. Why we using in Dart programming? Because it make us strong. It's make its user interface strong. Dart programming is like we can not a wrong thing, but it is an enhancement of the basic core C or C++ languages. So in that thing we are using this. So we can use like user interface in it, customized way, creative way, and animated way, mastering various layout edges and properties, and help developers to create responsive adaptive user interface. So adaptive user interface in it shows us that how can we adapt the user interface, how can we accept them. If we accept them, we can make it. If we not, it is make too difficult. How to accept them? Accept them is keeping upon practicing. Like continuous practicing is make the language updatable and strong. New generation languages need new libraries, new things, new code, new thinking. And machine can make the certain level of thinking, but and human can make the changes along in it and make the languages in vast way. Because that why is Flutter language is used in modern era and everywhere. Their requirements, jobs are in Karachi's, Lahore areas, or in sites of Pakistan or all over the world. They are famous. So people are using, thinking, and obviously applying in it. To so many entrepreneurs, many people are searching about it, that how can we make it enhance, how can we make it further modified it, how can we make it in our apps, like in mobile apps, like food apps. So it's so common, but as in cafes, as in use in malls, as in use in hospitals, as in use in and many CS techs, or as in use in home also. We can use in home works, we can use in business works. How can we use in business works? How can we maintain it in business works? Daily app using is also about related to other languages, but it can be modify the user interface. So we can continuously use and practice. So it make a complete like an user interface in it. So moving on further about navigating and rotating in Flutter. So this is the somehow navigating and rotating. Navigate to mean instruct someone. So instruct the rotate or rotate to someone that you can do like this, or you can do like this, or you can update like this, or to show like this. So developer can also understand and navigate the Flutter. How can it will understand and navigate the Flutter? It will navigation process is like a bottom navigation bar. You can make a certain bar, or it can be more to more is create like a seamless initiative user experience. User experience is like in something new, something, it is like a pre-planned. As we look at that phone and chart, it is like a planned scenario, it is like a planned charts, it is like a planned relations bars. As we see the phone is made in it, as we see the inner chart is made in it, as we see like the relations diagrams are made in it, that as we understand that what is happening inside it. So moving on the further slide, handling user input and gesture in Flutter. So how can we handle the gesture in Flutter languages? How can we understand the what is about the gestures are showing in there, like the buttons, text fields, checkboxes, the gestures when we input some checkbox, or when we some input text fields, or when we swipe something, we can use the passwords, and we can use the different type of sources like tab someone, or text fields, like text fields use the name, passcode, or we can, but it create an initiative like user experience will be like different, like new, like new user experience we can gain from it, not using about dirt programming but also in other languages. But for Flutter framework help us to show is like initiative way, to show is like user friendly way. So engage the audience, it's all about to engage the audience. As we know that ensure the languages will engage more, not quickly, but it will engage like people gather the information and engage the environment like, and proper and newly way, like new environment, like new further growing field, like. So moving on the further slide, advanced topics and basic practices in Flutter. According to, we can see that advanced topics and practices in Flutter. Flutter language in programming, Dirt programming, advanced topic and basic practices are like state management, compositions, and programming testing. Now, programming and testing. As I discuss about the deployment, so testing before deployment, testing is must to test the product, or to test the project, or to test the app. As we can say also product. The product, how can we test it? To test and to check the quality of the thing is by not one time, it's like two times, it be three times, because if we cannot recheck, it can have an something which is cannot move further, which cannot be deployed it to the user, which cannot deploy it to the client, we cannot deploy it to the environment, and we cannot deploy it to the peoples, we cannot give it, we can give it just like as a proper checking. Proper checking is must. As the prototype is made, it is not made like once time. Repeat prototypes are mainly not possible, but repeat testing is must. Repeat testing is like we can do it because of it someone's life is infect the environment. So testing is must in it when we implement the code and patterns. The concept of practicing and development to create the efficient maintainable. Now it is efficient and maintainable. Efficient is the people can use in like beneficial way. The people need something new day by day. In this environment, people need something new, something exciting, something change, something different in this environment. So, as in Pakistan or as in all over the country, so it is a beneficial. People always know that we can get some new thing, we can get some new click, we can say some new thing to operate it, and operate after. How can it maintain? Maintain like we daily update it, or to if it like bug is happen, to restore, to remaintainable, we can update quickly, so it will clear our in in storage work. So it is all about my presentation. If any anyone have any questions, so he or she must ask.
All right, dear audience, so Ms. Payal is done with her sharing all the information and knowledge that she had about this Flutter and Dart programming. Now, if you guys have any question, you can share in the chat box.
Okay, I understand the environment in this changes are difficult, but information is all about the gathering the information. We observe the environmental changes observation things. Coders mind change, coders mind think new, and new libraries are help them to implement in Flutter. We can think, we can code by making certain new libraries are present in it, so we can implement by step, then we can handle the changes in the Flutter. We can make the changes in the Flutter, we can handle it by making in the secure way, like making in the under security, and different ways we can do it, like we can make in mobile application, but ways are different, not in we can restrict the web applications, but we can also do it. But in daily life the mobile applications are so much of used in this environment. So mobile applications have mobile everyone, so we can like different ways we can. Java language is also applied in it. C++ is applied, but Dart programming is somehow I present because it makes new enhancement, new library assignment. Like also different programming also put in it, but the React language is also used. The React user interface is also used. JavaScript is used, but JavaScript is like we can also use in HTML and CSS. But Dart programming is somehow we can uh, make it new thing, make it like produce new code, make it like a library put in. Dart programming help us is user friendly way. It is help in every platform likely. User friendly, as you know what is user friendly, and I explain it in my slides also. So that's also about my questions answer. I think it's clear.
All right, do we have any other question from the participants? All right, I think, ma'am, the participants do not have any more questions. So, thank you
Okay.
so much for being with us today and sharing your enriching expertise with us today. I must say that your insights were truly amazing and they truly illuminated our understanding of Flutter and Dirt. And thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your
Thank
time.
you. Thank you so much, Aishwa. Thank you so much. Thank you.